Hey, vlog number 7. Today and yesterday I added a ton of stuff to the app in terms of features, but also in terms of mm, polish. And the important thing, the most important thing I think is I completely revisited pricing, as I mentioned in the last video. So we now don't price based on some metric which doesn't really matter to us. Instead, we charge different amounts. We have different plans based on features, based on the things that you can do. And I think I also want to add something else um, here. For example, I already mentioned in the previous video about pricing that we're gonna have one website in the starter plan, up to 5 websites in the pro plan, up to 20 in business, and then agency and enterprise with scale. I don't have enterprise plans now, but I think I will only consider this if people start asking me for an enterprise plan. I will not have that in the beginning. Um, but let's talk about. Uh, yeah. Um, uh, One of the features that will be very important, one of the capabilities that will be very important in pricing also will be data retention. For example, in the starter plan, I can have like 1 month data retention for the analytics, for example, or the events. So you can see them. Um, like if what is important is like how many people visited today, yesterday, last week, and not, for example, last year, then you can choose the starter plan. For example, I'm still thinking. Then in the pro and business plan, you might have like well, in the pro plan, you might have 1 year data retention or 2 years, and business 5 years, for example. This is something we can, um, or unlimited data retention until you are signed up, until you are paying for the subscription. Um, this is something worth thinking about. So one big change I did yesterday was this. Uh, Basically, generally, what you do with any kind of application you build is you have like one database, and this database basically includes, all um, all your users, everything. So it grows with the number of people that are using your app. But since we are using D1 databases on Cloudflare, which are um, SQLite databases, they are designed to be lightweight. They are designed so that you have a ton of those databases in your account. So here are the docs for D1 on Cloudflare. As you can see, we have a limit of 50,000 databases per account, and each there is a maximum storage of 1 terabyte, and like this is designed so that you don't have like a big database, but you have multiple databases. And so what I did was I asked my agent to using Fable, which is awesome, by the way. Uh, I asked it to redesign the complete architecture of the application of the system so that every workspace, so every not every user, because users might have collaborators, but once you join, you create like a website, and then that sits in its own database for your user and organization. That's the term. The organization has its own database. So if I have 100 users, I will have 100 databases. If I have 1,000 users, I will have 1,000 databases. And this is great because um, it has many, many advantages. First of all, I will never have to manage a super big database, and every user will start from a clean database. So they are not, um, for example, the speed of the website will not be correlated to how many uh, page views another person has on my database, on my system. And also, this is due to the architecture of the D1 databases because um, like they have some limitations. As you can see here in the docs, each individual D1 database is single-threaded and processes queries one at a time. So it will not scale well if you have a ton of users here. But uh, yeah, they are designed this way, and I think embracing this kind of architecture is cool because now uh, one user signs up. Here's the workflow. They immediately put their credit card. So I redesigned the checkout also so that there are no user accounts if you don't put your credit card on file. You still have 14 days of free trial, so you don't pay right away, but I want you to be committed because I have to create a database, on Cloudflare just for you. So you got to be committed. You are already convinced by my landing page that this is the thing you want. So if someone decides not to pay anymore at the end of the trial, I just delete their database. That's it. I don't have to do, for example, big queries to delete data on a shared database that other people use as well. And also, there is like built-in data protection because that's like they cannot access if I do any mistake in, I don't know, filtering by user, that's not possible. So that's a big architecture change. Um, one feature I implemented, talking about features, is we now have a simple analytics solution here. So we track views over the past 7 days, 30 days, 12 months. Um, you just add a tracking snippet to your site. It works like Plausible Analytics or Fathom Analytics if you have ever used those tools, which do not require a banner just to track users. I think it's perfect for a very simple solution. I think I mentioned somewhere else that this is not a replacement for those mm, more complicated tracking tools. All right. Then I created like an admin interface to manage users. This will be something that only I will use. I haven't created it yet. I just sent my agents to do that now. I told them to replicate this interface here, but this will be on its own subdomain, on its own app, completely separate. And also, I will use protection at the Cloudflare level in order to make sure no one else can access it except from myself. And yeah, I also added events here. I don't know if I mentioned them already. So I want to add like a little uh, mix panel kind of thing. So we will track events across your app. If you want to do that, we will also track all events that happen here in the Sitebase features. For example, someone subscribes to the contact form or to a waiting list. And speaking of waiting lists, I added the ability to add more waiting lists. So um, the use case here is, for example, on my website, I have an AI workshop course that only opens once a month, and I have a waiting list for this. And I have a waiting list for my bootcamp, which now sits on another website, but previously I had a waiting list here on this site. So it could be like, I think it could be good use case here to have multiple waiting lists. I've seen this happen. But like talking about features now, individual features is not something I'm still ready to do because um, it's not yet that time. I'm still working on the overall picture. So I tried adding analytics to my blog and it works. I'm tracking all the events that happen, and gradually I will add more features and work on them individually, one by one. Right now it's all still work in progress. And so I created, let me show you, I created this. If you go on sitebase.dev, you just see this, the logo. I will add a waiting list here, which is made by Sitebase. I'm dogfooting, using the tool. This is the most important thing, is that this tool, I built this tool for myself. Okay. So anything I will add to this is a thing I use personally. And this, like I talked in my last email, in my newsletter, and if you're not subscribed, you should go to flaviocopes.com and click newsletter to join my newsletter. I talked about a founder product fit or product founder fit. So the best product you build is a product that suits you personally as a person. And I've always had ideas for products to build over the past few years while I was 100% dedicated to teaching programming through my courses, my bootcamp. Um, so anything I built was like, yeah, uh, this looks fun, but it didn't catch my full attention, you know. But this tool I'm building, this is fantastic because I will use this personally on all my properties, my web properties, and all the sites I manage. And while I was building this simple landing page here, I thought, well, maybe I can create this on Notion, because Notion is a tool I use a lot. Uh, you can create websites using Notion, in case you don't know. And I said, well, I can embed the waiting list inside the Notion page and display that. Uh, and then I had like an epiphany, because on Notion you can embed things, and it's very common to, like, I've seen tools that and libraries of widgets that you can use on Notion. So I thought, well, this can be perfect for Notion. You don't really need a website. You can just work with Notion documents and embed those things and publish the Notion documents as websites, which is very possible. And so I asked AI to generate documentation for how to use Notion, but also Google Sites. Is anyone using Google Sites? Wix, Squarespace, Framer. Um, this is just a first iteration of this documentation. Like, I can focus on the most popular website builders like Wix or Squarespace. And I don't really know which features do they provide because I never use them. But this could be also integrated with that. And if this is possible, it's huge. It's huge. And so I also asked the AI to create dedicated landing pages like this for Notion. This could be nice marketing. And for Shopify also. I didn't mention Shopify. Card also is huge. Yeah, maybe even OpenAI sites. So this feature has been released just a few days ago. Basically, Codex ChatGPT can create websites for you, and I don't know if we can integrate with this somehow, but they are hosted on Cloudflare. Imagine the platform that hosts this my app. So there is a ton here to think about. One thing I also thought yesterday was version widgets. So suppose you embed a widget in your site, for example, I don't know, you embed the newsletter sign up and it looks like this. And then I decide to change this into a different design because maybe I hire a designer that designs a few widgets, maybe that is possible. Or simply, I don't know, I change something. Like, you don't really want this to change on your website, I think. So one thing I thought is version widgets. So embeds don't change until you, the owner, decide to upgrade the widget to a new version. So there will be some versioning here. This is V1, and then I will release new versions of updated widgets. And if you don't want to change, you can keep the old one you had. That's an idea. And that's it, I think. Did I show you the activity already? So here it shows who did what here on the site-based interface. So if you have like collaborators, you know what happened. Very cool. And also each feature has documentation in line here. So if you don't know how to work with events, there is inline documentation. That's it, I think. Um, so another thing is this one. So when you're on a plan that doesn't really allow you to create a new website because you went over the limits, um, instead of showing this, which is the form to add a new website, I show you this. Okay, so this is like a form to upgrade to the plan that is it's the biggest, like the one you should upgrade to. I don't show you like the business or the team plan. If you are on the starter plan, you just upgrade to pro to get more usage immediately. So that's it for this update. See you in the next video.